What's up, and welcome back to the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Of course, I am your host, Tim Geddes. I am joined by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Tim.
Snowbike Mike.
What up, Tim?
Andy Cortez.
X gonna give it to you.
And Greg Miller.
We were feeling the green. The green was feeling us.
It was felt all over our bodies. We're going to talk all about everything we just saw at the Xbox Games Showcase, because this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast, where each and every weekday we get together to talk about video games, everything you need to know about them, our impressions of them, our predictions about them, anything in between. And you can watch it live on twitch.tv or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. And we appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with us. If you wanted to go above and beyond, though, you could be a Kind of Funny member. Get the membership on Patreon or YouTube. You can get our shows ad-free. You can watch live as we record them and get a daily exclusive show. Just like our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Fargo Brady, and Delaney Twining have done and can do. Today we're presented by Ponkle. We'll tell you all about that stuff later. If you have YouTube Super Chats, if you have anything that you want to get to us talking about this showcase, please send them over and we will talk to them throughout this amazing discussion that we are about to have. We always like to grade the different showcases that we watch using the Kind of Funny scale, which is 1 to 10. I would like to kick that off. If that's okay with you guys. I think that this is not only one of the best showcases Xbox has ever put on, I think it's one of the best gaming showcases ever done. I would give this a 10 on the Kind of Funny scale. Masterpiece. I think it's important to keep in mind, 10 does not mean perfect. I think this was missing a couple key release dates that we really should have got by now, but I'm sure they're just not ready for that, and we'll get to them at another point. The pacing, the production, the amount of announcements of new IP that look awesome, the updates on games we wanted to see, the big megaton, we hope that they're here, we cross our fingers. Is there going to be a one more thing? Will it deliver? It's Gears, baby. They did it. Perfect Dark was here. We saw gameplay of it. I just feel like so much of this stuff was, this is the dominoes. This is it. This is all happening, everyone. Bless, what about you?
Yeah, I gave it a 9.5. I think this showcase is very well-rounded. Thought it was very paced well. I thought the production was great. The Call of Duty showcase was one where going into this, like, I was of the mind of, all right, cool, we're going to see what we always see with Call of Duty. I like the fact that they took the Xbox developer _direct and directized what the Call of Duty showcase was, where it was us seeing the developers, us getting comments from them breaking down why they seem excited for this year's Call of Duty. I feel like that's the thing that I'm usually missing out of it. I think they did such a great job with that. I think the surprises were there. Even though Doom was leaked, Doom was still such a great trailer, and it was surprising and awesome. Seeing the fucking chainsaw shield was super sick. Seeing the mech, the sick-ass hair, like, Doom looks incredible. And for me, I think the biggest thing for this showcase is when I look at showcases like this, the thing that I look forward to is seeing the case made for either the rest of the year or even the year after. And I think they made such a strong case for what the fall looks like and what 2025 looks like. And so, yeah, shout out to MGS Delta, which had a great showing as well. Perfect Dark, Mixtape, and then, of course, Life is Strange, the new one. All those look fantastic. And, yeah, I think the showcase was... I agree with you. I think this is the best, one of the best Xbox showcases in the last decade, if not the best one. And yeah, like, I think the only thing that could have brought it to a 10 for me would have been like a just out of nowhere, like, announcement we weren't expecting that was like a Half-Life 3 or something fucking crazy like that. But even regardless, like, 9.5, one of the best Xbox showcases ever, I think.
Mike?
Tim, come on now, team. Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. That was one hell of a showcase. That is a 10 out of a 10. That will go down as one of the best gaming showcases of all time. Just like Bless said, that is the best Xbox showcase. There has to have been. And right now, that's one that we will look back on and smile and go, man, do you remember after all that time of acquiring Bethesda and Activision Blizzard King, and we questioned, do they have the games? Do they have the right stuff? This was finally them showing, hey, we have the games. And now we have the lineup, and we're going to back it up with all of that. And it was really awesome to see. I think a really special one for me on this showcase was, of course, showcasing all the talented developers underneath the Microsoft umbrella, but also having the third-party games to come and really support, right? I think that was a big thing we were missing with Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Showcase this summer, where we talked about, like, people have to come and support these things. 2 hours to fill is a long time to get a bunch of trailers from your own internal teams to really make this pop. And we saw big third-party teams show up. I mean, EA brought Dragon Age, right? That was awesome to see live and in action. Of course, you'll have Assassin's Creed with Ubisoft, which we know they're everywhere, but like that continues to build up your showcase and go, man, you had some really awesome games to go along with your first party titles, which I really, really like. My one critique is we still have question marks for this year, which is very odd. I know we're in a new world now, and I think it's the right world of let's not put these developers in a box and write it in ink, as Todd said, with these release dates, right? But it is odd that we still continue to keep windows, and also 2 games that we were expecting this year with Aura History Untold and Towerborn, just not there, no release dates in sight, but you're supposed to be 2024. And so it gives them the wiggle room, which is the correct way, right? Like, when you're ready, let's give you a window. I would prefer we can continue the year because we only have 6 months now, but I like that. But it is odd to me that I look down the list and go, man, we still have question marks of like this year's games, which is Starfield, Shattered Space DLC, no release date on that. Avowed, no release date. Indiana Jones, no release date. Just 2024, which is fine with me, but it is interesting of like the biggest and the baddest. We're not putting dates on the board anymore, but I think that's the new age of what we see. But all in all, you look back on this, that was a hell of a time. And then to see Gears of War, E-Day, come on. If you're an Xbox fan, if you're just a gamer in general, you're going to go wild for that. To have a young Marcus Phoenix, Dom, the brotherhood, the unity, what we're going to see on Emergence Day, right? You think about Gears of War 1, we didn't start at day 1. We started when they were already in the COG army fighting for it. It's going to be really cool to see that. I'm interested to see how you capture that horror, that kind of wow factor, right? Of like, we already know the Locust Horde. We've seen so much of it. How do you still get me to kind of feel that creepy crawly moment? How do you get me to go, oh, wow, I'm actually scared when I kind of know the enemy? But
how sick was it seeing Marcus Phoenix being like really, really scared in one of those moments, like fighting for his life out there?
But yeah, 10 out of 10, Tim, and they still have plenty of games to come. World of Warcraft being there, Diablo. We're going to go down the list. Awesome showcase.
Andy Cortez.
Yeah, this is as good as it gets. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's so jam-packed. And I keep on thinking about when we had that, Gamescast where Grubb was on along with Parris, and we walked through the lineup of all of these different titles. We're like, there's no way this is there. There's no way this is there. And then the more and more that I kept on remembering Jeff Grubb saying there's going to be 30 games, it's like, shit, maybe they are going to be there. And I was so surprised that, I'm so surprised by how jam-packed this was that Perfect Dark wasn't the one last thing. That South of Midnight?
Yep.
South of Midnight was not the one. Like, there was so many of those titles that we've known are in production. We know that these teams have been working on them. When are we going to see them next? And those are like middle of the showcase things to show off. Like, blown away by it's an embarrassment of riches in this showcase that Xbox had. And it's just a lot of awesome looking games with a lot of really awesome unknown stuff. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that holy shit, there's so many awesome titles in here that we did not know existed prior to today. And now that we do, it's add all of those to the calendars of what we need to play. And then Metal Gear Solid Delta. Holy shit. Throw that one in there too, just to bring all the goosebumps. Amazing.
Greg Miller.
Yeah, I think you've all nailed it and talked through the points very well. And I think what's, to be last voice on the panel right now, what's so fascinating is the amount of things you're bringing up that I didn't forget about, but I'm thinking about this other announcement. But then I go back to, Perfect Dark looked awesome. I totally slept on that, or I've forgotten that in my already downloading creations in the Starfield creation shop right now. I think it's a 10 out of 10 as well. I think it's a masterpiece. I think for me, I'm with Mike. With everybody, but Mike brought it up. I think of could have gone for more hard release dates, but 2024 is good enough. And again, it is the idea that, especially for me and what the Xbox fan I am, right? Okay, that guess what? There's a Starfield update out right now for me to go play when I get home, let alone all this creation stuff. Fallout 76 gets this update on Wednesday. That's outrageous, let alone then for looking for, a State of Decay I didn't even want to dream about in the Xbox preview show, right? And the fact that it's here, it was a new trailer. They're talking about using Unreal Engine 5 now or whatever on the wire. There's just, you can't throw a rock in any of this and not hit something like Metal Gear Solid Delta and be like, holy fuck, what a show this was. And I think, on a year where we were told to temper our expectations to some regard, right? In the year where we've talked much about how many leaks have happened and all these different things, Xbox was able to come out here and deliver a banger of a show. This is a showcase that feels on par with an E3.
Yeah, I mean, and I said something like this earlier, but I mean, I feel like on par with any of Sony's best E3s. Like, I feel like it brought all of the stuff that you'd want to see from Xbox and what they can deliver now with the amount of teams that they have. And while it might have been lacking like the hard release dates, I am shocked at how much gameplay we saw. I'm shocked that it was like south of midnight, not only being there, but seeing such an extended gameplay.
And how important
Fable,
is that, right?
fuck, like,
of
yeah.
doing the real thing, not just having trailers, do the trailer and then go in, not having an executive come out and talk about it for 10 minutes on top of that and like be weird. Have it, here's a tone piece, here's some gameplay of what it looks like.
Yeah, well, we now know what that game is, and we didn't going into this. That is so important. I feel like Perfect Dark, same thing. Like, we kind of for some reason assumed it was third person. We see that. We know what that game is now. Like, that is huge. And on top of that, we get new things like, what was it called? The 33
Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Ben Starr.
Come
that
the
was
fuck on, dude.
wild.
And so many things in between that we'll get to each and everything individually. But while we're just top level still, do you guys want to just talk about the show overall before we break everything down?
I just wanted to mention, like, I'm not too worried about the 2024. Like, I feel like right now, I got to assume that some of these games, if needed to, could launch in the next 2 to 3 months or so. But like, it kind of reminds me of a Nintendo situation where maybe it's like, let's see what happens the rest of the year. What else is being released? How do we put these puzzle pieces where they need to go that makes sense for us so that things don't get trampled on, but so that maybe we're also avoiding other stuff from other developers.
And while that's true, I just feel like we're at the point of they need to call the shots. Like, it's late enough now for Indiana Jones with just a few months left in the year that I just feel like they're like, we got Indy, it's November. Other people, if you're considering putting something out, you should move out of the way.
Get out of our
these
way.
type of games. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just think,
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, Xbox has shown they can just do a developer_direct next month that does focus on, hey, we're giving the release dates for these projects that you know about, and like that could be really cool.
It's so wild that like Indiana Jones is the weakest thing to me on the showcase.
That's
like
wild.
that's how strong of a showcase it was. I wasn't too like blown away by what I saw gameplay wise there. I thought it was like kind of an oddly paced thing, but they want to show different environments, they want to show different characters, different little silly action moments you might get into. But yeah, I mean the Fable sequence that we saw there was just really damn cool, and I love the tone. I think they're just nailing it in every way they need to.
All right, we're going to break every single thing down chronologically from the show, but we're going to do that right after a word from our sponsors.
This episode of Kinda Funny is brought to you by Punkle, the developers behind Vampire Survivors. Did you know that Vampire Survivors is out on just about everything? That's right, you can play it this very second on PC, Xbox, Switch, and mobile. And if that wasn't enough, it's coming to PlayStation this summer with a Platinum Trophy, and I just so happen to be stoked. Why? Because it's awesome! Vampire Survivors is a gothic horror casual game with roguelike elements where your choices can allow you to quickly snowball against the hundreds of monsters that get thrown at you. Mow down thousands of night creatures and survive until dawn. Pick your character, spend your gold on power-ups, and get to being the bullet hell in the game that features absolutely zero vampires. Punkle even just released the new DLC Operation Guns featuring the classic and timeless Konami IP, Contra. We've been talking about this game for years, so there's no reason not to support it. Now, it's as affordable as a cup of coffee. Get Vampire Survivors on your platform of choice this very second, and thank Punkle for sponsoring Kinda Funny.
So the show kicks off with the Call of Duty countdown, setting the hype appropriately. We start seeing this thing. I'm like, this looks kind of cool. When it gets to 6, it says the Black Ops 6. It's like, okay, this is awesome. And then we get the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 trailer. And honestly, it was hype as shit. This is how you do a Call of Duty trailer. Like, I think that this just looked awesome. And I feel like it was such a great way to kick off this showcase, but also be like, hey, Call of Duty's Xbox now. And I feel like that's all that they had to do. Starting the showcase with it, I don't know why I didn't think about that, but I thought it was a brilliant move on their part.
PlayStation you can't use your left trigger. Like that's what happens when you play on PlayStation.
I mean, well, them coming
Doing weird
immediately
exclusive
starting
shit.
with Phil Spencer on stage and just being like, we're done
Everybody
with all
gets
of
it.
this.
Fuck
Yeah,
the day,
no
fuck
more
the
of this.
timed exclusive stuff.
Yeah, betas, when we do betas, everybody gets to play. We're not doing 2 weeks ahead of time with someone else. That was pretty special. Then, of course, the big announcement we already know, but making it clear Call of Duty from this point forward on Game Pass is going to be big, is right. And so this was fun. The direct afterwards, as Blessing said, did a great job showcasing and really deep diving into what is new, what you will see in the future of Call of Duty, from movement to prestige. For me, we're bringing back round-based zombies with 2 maps. Like, that's really exciting stuff. I know Call of Duty fans are going to love all of that.
One of the things that did happen after the fact is I like to add in little facts. IGN is reporting Microsoft has revealed that Black Ops 6 will weigh in at an eye-watering 309.85 gigabytes,
Jesus.
making it the biggest Call of Duty game ever in terms of how much storage space it will take up at
It's a
launch.
bundle, Tim. We put it all together.
Yeah.
It's a bundle, baby.
Is that the biggest game ever? Like, that's insane. That number's huge.
Yeah,
Roger's probably very upset.
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent it to Slack.
He
Oh,
put
yeah.
it into Slack as well. I think his commentary on it was this needs to be made illegal.
That's wow.
It's on the same level of like billionaires shouldn't exist for me. Like, it's on that sort of level for me.
Then next up, we got Doom, The Dark Ages 2025. Bless, what'd you think?
I mean, it looks incredible. Like we were talking about this in the predictions as far as what do they do to Doom to make it feel fresh and different. We saw the leaks. We knew they were going back into like a medieval-ish time setting. Seeing it actually like, be displayed to us. I think Andy put it well. We're talking about the colors, talking about how like, you're so used to seeing in the last couple of Doom games so much red, and like, you're playing it for the hardcore nature of it. You're playing for like the fucking, we're in hell, we're getting demonic and all this shit. Seeing them like, explore with setting, explore with how they're going about just the visuals of it. I think it looks fantastic. I like the new look for Doom, or for Doom guy. Like, I fucking love the hair. It's different. It's sick. And yeah, like the weapons seem awesome. I'm very much looking forward to this.
The pairing of the shield, using the shield as I think one of my favorite things was in the game, and it's something that I've been wanting them to do more, is like playing with the physics of it all. And we see that moment where he shield rushes a bunch of dudes and like 12 dudes fly up in the air after getting hit by his big like wave of like shield attack. And like I've been wanting more of that in Doom. It's such a precise and fast shooter. But one thing that I love playing I love being in this sort of Halo sandbox where its physics are just kind of wild, and I really enjoyed seeing that. And like all these bodies flying around, like I don't recall seeing a whole lot of that in the earlier Dooms. It always felt kind of like 1v1-ish, right? But it just looks like they're having so much fucking fun making this game.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of really cool ideas on what people already loved about Doom, obviously, but having like the ball and chain there, right? Having like Blessing called out the cape that's made of fur, having the shield that is a chainsaw as well that tossed around, flying on this
Riding this
guy,
dragon.
getting into a mech. Like, Doom's not my franchise, but that all looked incredible.
Yeah, I mean, man, they definitely pulled it off with this one. 2025, looking
Unbelievable.
hot for
Looks
Xbox.
unbelievable.
And then Greg Miller, State of Decay 3.
Can you fucking believe it?
No.
There it was. You know what I mean? There was a lot of conversation on our preview show about it. We wanted it. We would love to see it. But of course, there had been a lot of turmoil at Undead Labs with founder lead leaving, new people coming and going. What does it all mean? The trailer looked great. And again, to what we're talking about, even though this wasn't a deep dive of gameplay, right? It is a trailer that was cinematic and set the pace of what they're doing and then goes into actual gameplay, it looks like, as they're running through and shooting and having that happen. And again, over on the Xbox Wire, they're talking about like what they did with this trailer and why. And it's a lot of words to say, right? It's a theme piece of working together and what State of Decay is all about. But also they call out working with the Coalition and learning more about it in the new Unreal and being able to go in there and really up the ante on what they're doing. Because as somebody who's played so much State of Decay, this does look far better. It is, this looks far more grounded. I'll be interested to see what it is and how it is. But they talk about in there of like, having, it's not about being dire. It's about actually the hope of all this, right? There are zombies there, but it is about you building your communities and your towns and keeping that going. So what this will end up being, I'm very excited for. I thought this was a great reintroduction to State of Decay 3.
Yeah. This is one of those nice check-ins, right? We have that long list of like, hey, where are we with these titles? We see them so early, and then we never hear about them again. It's nice to have the check-in moment right there and have a little bit of splices of gameplay in there. I mean, it's if you've played State of Decay, like Greg said, it looks better, but it's not like it's going to wow you. Like, oh my God, that's completely different.
Yeah.
We know what State of Decay 3 is. We know what we want it to be. And there's small improvements from State of Decay 2 to State of Decay 3 that they need to do to really make this something special. And they could do that.
State of Decay 1 and 2 to me seem kind of like niche Xbox franchises.
Super
is that
double A.
fair to say?
Yeah.
I would agree with
Do you think that State of Decay 3, obviously it's very early with what we're seeing, but do you think that it has the potential to elevate, or is the expectations and what you even want for State of Decay 3 to just be the best version of that. And that's
I'm ready for it
is.
to elevate. My love for State of Decay is very much State of Decay 1. State of Decay 2 was too much of State of Decay 1 again. Like, you know what I mean? Any sequel obviously will have the bones of the original, but this felt like I was playing the original again.
Yes.
I always thought it was State of Decay 2. So what I'm looking for here is the elevation, not saying they would learn the lessons because they've been working on it for so long, but an elevation in the way I saw Helldivers to Helldivers 2. Where this needs to be okay, cool. We are fully embracing, Mike, that people are always playing. There's always online. You can get into your friend's town. You can do this thing. You can build.
That's what we want.
Where are we at right now with these sandbox crafting games? Right, like you can't throw a rock again and not hit one of those. Whether you're talking about Pal World or some Fallout 76 shared world that Mike and I are doing, I think that's the elevation and evolution you need from a State of Decay 3. You need to feel modern. You need to feel the money behind them on this too. And I think as long as this has been gestating, they know that. The problem is, I would say, is where are we at with zombie games? You know what I mean? We've heard about zombie fatigue when we were at IGN. You know what I mean? It is a real thing. But if your game is great and your gameplay loop is great and it's fun to play with friends and we're all doing the thing together, I think that would work. And so for them, even right now, in a very early messaging being about like, this is about the hope of, the working together, not about the direness of a zombie thing. That could be an interesting thread to tug on, but I'm excited to actually see what it's like to play with Mike.
Yeah, and of course to jump off with PC as well, that will be day and date with that. So it's going to have a pretty large community. And yeah, like Greg said with the survival games, they're all over the place. And that's what hopefully Xbox and Microsoft probably want, is a strong survival game in the portfolio that will keep people coming back nonstop.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Andy. It finally happened. We got to see it. Did it live up to expectations?
It did. It did. I was hoping to see gameplay, but I'm still stoked for it. The concept of building the squad, building the team, building the Veilguard. And I saw, like, I'm not the hardest core Dragon Age fan. I was always like way more into Mass Effect, but I still played them. They still hold a very special place in my heart. And a lot of the I guess a lot of the discourse we're seeing online from the hardcore fans are like, we're totally fine with the name change, going from Dreadwolf to the Veilguard, because this shouldn't be just about a villain. This should be about the team and the relationships that you're going to be building and forging. And like, come on, dude, building a team, like, it's just my favorite fucking thing in movies, man.
I mean, it's one of the reasons I would go as far as to say, and I don't think I'm that crazy, but I know that it's Mass Effect 2 is my favorite. Mass Effect 2, right? We are going on a suicide mission and we need the perfect fucking team. And you have to go get those
We need
people.
a shooter. Mike, remember when you and Nick skipped over the part where Garrus was revealed that he was Archangel?
Yeah.
Nick had no idea.
We were there.
Random snipers up in the air. Nick talking over all these cutscenes, and he's like, oh shit, Garrus is it? Wait, Garrus is Archangel? And I was so mad watching along. I was so pissed off. Anyway, this looks absolutely incredible.
Really quick, Andy.
Feels
gameplay on Tuesday, I believe.
Oh, sick. Okay, very, very cool. Yeah, I'm very, very jazzed up about this. Like, I'm obviously very, very worried with all of the past and all of the baggage that this game has had with, like, seemingly getting canceled a whole bunch of times, just always being in this weird sort of, will it, won't it happen, because of when we talk about BioWare's, I'm already blanking on Anthem. Yeah, like Anthem kind of just throwing a wrench in everything and being like, oh, we should go back to single player games, actually. I have a lot of hope for this one. So yeah, I'm pretty jazzed up.
Again, Dragon Age, I completely let it go when it happened. I never got into it. I think I tried with the first one, and then it was very cumbersome for me at the time. I've come around, I think, a bit more where I'm more open to fantasies, let alone action RPG or fantasy RPGs featuring good combat and action and stuff like that. That trailer as a tone piece is a world I want to be in. Like, they all seem like really fun characters, right? Really colorful characters, really embracing that idea of it. That'd be something I'd love to get into. And again, for as starved as we've been for a real BioWare game, a real Mass Effect game, right? Even whatever you want to call Anthem, I'd be jazzed to jump in here and see those choices and see what the people who, again, we always talk about, went to BioWare because they wanted to make BioWare games. All right, cool. You're making one of the BioWare games. What are your inspirations? What are you pulling from other RPGs? How are choices going to be? That sounds like a lot of fun.
The art style change also kind of surprised me, because I guess I just expected, going from Inquisition to lean deeper into, let's make this as realistic looking as possible. and it kind of feels like they went a bit more in the opposite direction, back towards like more of a stylish look. And I really dug the proportions of the characters' faces. Kind of reminded me of like, I don't know. I guess I expected to see the pores on everybody's noses and everybody's like pupils and all that shit. I kind of like that we took it back the other way and like, no, let's kind of like find this identity once again and make this like the new BioWare from here on out. Awesome. Can't wait. Tuesday gameplay.
Starfield, Shattered Space.
Yeah.
New content coming tonight.
Fuck that, it's out,
already
Tim.
out, Tim.
New
Already out,
content is
everybody.
out,
It's
Tim.
already
Enhanced
out.
melee. I don't even know what that means, but they did something to the melee. I gotta go check out. I never melee it, so I don't even know what that means.
Oh,
but
stronger.
Melee combat, they've changed around, yeah. Of course, they're talking, this is the Shattered Space trailer. Right now, you could jump in, you could get into the Creations Club that has launched, a whole bunch of stuff in there. There's a new quest for the trackers that I grabbed off of that's officially from Bethesda to get in there.
Dude, like I remember playing through the story and hearing a lot about this Order of the Great Serpent or what is that?
It's House of Varun.
So like
Varun.
that little cult I heard a lot about, but I never really explored much of it, and I don't know if there was much there to explore anyway.
The game,
But it was always very fascinating. Like, oh, I want to know what the fuck's up with these weirdos.
yeah, it's one of those. There's so much lore to Starfield that I think is in there and ancillary, but isn't main quest. You don't need to do it, right? You can just kind of blow by it or do the quest around it or whatever like that. The hardcore Starfield fans, the people who are on the subreddit putting up the theories, and I'm sitting there digesting it, reading it all, they've been predicting that this is what it would be about because there is so much in that game about it. And even now, right now in my New Game Plus playthrough, that's I haven't looked at it. I had it a second ago. I think it's 80 hours now of Starfield on that save or whatever, maybe 90, it doesn't matter, but it's like I'm finding so much more in all the side stuff and the conversations and the relationships between that and what's going on in this galaxy. So to have this there, to have Chase the Great Serpent, see what Andreja thinks of all this, you gotta know, we gotta be out there, we gotta be going.
School me, and the creation kit is the mods, right? Like
Yeah,
we would
this is
see
the
back in the
Bethesda
day with the
mod
other
stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So that's what this first
man.
this first quest is the mod from them. There's already a bunch in there from fans of changing how this works, making sure you always get ship parts when you blow up a ship, other stuff of like they show it at the end in their little thing, right? The plushies, there's a Starborn suit in there you can get, like really cool stuff for people like me that want to stay in this world and keep adventuring and have a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean, just shocking, I think, personally, that it's just another one of like, hey, we're dropping this right now for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job of seeding leading up to, of course, Shattered Space. Because I do think Shattered Space has that ability to do the, hey, Starfield's great now. If you haven't, you're going to see a lot of those articles, hopefully, knock on wood, right, if it turns around. And if so, I think these updates will all be a big part of it. What we already saw with the previous update in May, wasn't it? And now what we're seeing here tonight, and then what the other things you're going to get from Creation Club as we go.
Fallout 76, Skyline Valley coming June 12th.
Yeah.
Play as a ghoul in 2025.
Wednesday,
ghoul.
Tim.
Come on.
Wednesday, Tim. Yeah, we kind of blew past that because I was jotting everything else down to have it. We had thought maybe it was imminent. We now know Wednesday for the drop on this one. The first, as it said right there, expansion to the map. So that seems huge. There's a whole bunch of stuff I was reading about of new ghoul types out there from their official thing.
Julia Gulia.
Your name was going to be Julia Gulia. You'll cross this savage divide and travel to the southern reaches of Appalachia. This picturesque new region, Skyline Valley, introduces new locations to explore among the woodlands once known as the real Shenandoah National Park. Seek out the real location of Vault 63 and uncover its mysteries. Learn the truth about the lost, the electric ghouls that now inhabit the vault, and their enigmatic overseer, Hugo. We know together. What is causing these electrical storms looming over Skyline Valley? You'll chase storms in a new public event, dangerous pastimes, and fight new region bosses. A monumental trifecta of robo-brains. Only daredevils need apply. All stuff going on like that. I'm stoked, Mike, of course.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Is my new obsession with Fallout 76 here in the past 2 months. It's nice to have new content. And then, play as a ghoul, something the community's been wanting a lot for a character creator coming in 2025.
Then next up, we got Expedition 33, set for 2025. Ben Starr voicing this. Ben Starr's watching this right now. What's
No,
up,
he's
Ben?
not.
He is. He texted me.
Hi, Ben.
Congratulations, Ben.
Yeah, congrats. Awesome stuff.
Congrats, bro.
This was a
You're pretty
major
talented.
win for me. I feel like a lot of potential with this game. It
Should've
looks
been you, though.
awesome. Production values through the roof. The music sounds so damn good. You guys know how picky I am with the quality of music, and the quality of this feels on the level of a Final Fantasy, like a core Final Fantasy, and I think that is just incredibly impressive. The battle system looked very interesting. I love how action-focused it seems and similar to some of the more recent Final Fantasies like 7 Remake or 15 and things like that. Looks rad.
a stunner,
Definitely
dude.
want to keep my eyes on this one.
This is a stunner.
100%.
The visuals, just like it's every one of those things you see, it looks like one of those Unreal Engine 5 tech demos that never ever becomes a video game. I think visually it looks fantastic. Conceptually, what they're doing story wise seems super fascinating. There's another one of those unknowns that you just like when you're predicting what's going to happen. You're like, I hope they have Pontiff Sullivan from Dark Souls 3, and there he is. Pretty sick.
I do like how well the combat reads too. Like, you mentioned that it looks similar to the recent Final Fantasies. For me, it screams Persona, just in terms of like how quick the button presses seem. But then you'd also mention during the thing of Mario or Paper Mario or like the Mario RPGs, where it is that like input when you're actually doing the action. It all flows really well as you're watching it, and you can tell exactly what's happening as it's happening on screen. And yeah, I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, it's a rare JRPG that can bring me in, but that story seems awesome. Like that just seems like such a cool fucking weird. The painter,
come on,
you die
dude.
if that age, you disappear.
So cool.
Like that seems like a world I actually want to get into and try to see through.
And day one on Game Pass. Give it a try. Jump out if you're not fine with it.
And then next up, South of Midnight 2025. Another big surprise for me. Didn't expect to see this at the show. 2025, I think, is new information there. And we saw another great little kind of story vignette, and then it led into actual gameplay, and did not expect this type of game from this, and I am thrilled. This definitely is up there for me of game of the show. But man, can't wait for this. Have high hopes for it.
Cool grapple hook, awesome combat, like these really neat little narrative moments of this big ass catfish, just like just telling you a story. Looks awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for this. This is, I think we know Compulsion pretty well here. Kind of funny. Obviously, I knew their pedigree. I was looking forward to this, seeing the gameplay today. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, yeah, like this is a must play. Like when we can get code, when we get to a preview event, we can do anything with this. I want to be part of it.
Compulsion still hasn't had a major win.
Correct.
For me, for most, I would say. And I'm hoping this is, I said this during the thing, but I'm getting a lot of Kana vibes from this, and I like that a lot. These boss fights look great. I love all the effects going on of everything. And yeah, the animation is stunning.
To your point, right? Like, if you're unfamiliar with them, right? We're talking about this being their third game, right? You're talking about 2013 Contrast, 2018 We Happy Few.
Yeah.
So like, while they've been someone to watch, right? A Contrast was a PlayStation 4 launch game. I remember talking to all of them at that New York event, doing that thing. Yeah. Like, I think they are still learning, obviously, as they go. And I think that's one of the reasons this looks so incredible. Like, this is stunning right now as you watch it on your screen and think about going. And again, like, I want to go explore and I want to use these powers and I want to fight little cool things. And I want the story they're trying to tell, or it looks like they're trying to tell.
And to just get like a little nerdy right there, Greg.
Get nerdy.
So, Spider-Verse came out, right? And it's like the movies are in 24 frames per second, but then they animated him at 12 frames per second, Miles Morales, right? So it kind of looked choppy. You got to assume, Tim, 60 frame per second game, but it's not 30, they're doing 15. Compulsion, give me a little Digital Foundry, y'all watching? Let me know. Hit me up.
Hit them up.
McCall.
Next up, we got World of Warcraft, The War Within, coming August 26, 2024. PC only. Mike,
It's a big deal. I mean, a lot of people, I think console gamers might, nod off during this one, but this is, you buy Activision Blizzard King for a lot of these big IPs. And guess what? World of Warcraft is still a juggernaut on PC and an MMORPG. And to see it continue to get DLC and big expansions and the fervor that will be that first month of all of these people jumping in, reliving that World of Warcraft vibe, going forward for months on in, jumping in and out. I mean, it's very, very cool. No word of Game Pass integration whatsoever, right? This is very much still, hey, you jump in with your World of Warcraft subscription. But, I mean, come on. WoW and Blizzard with what we're going to see with Diablo 4 cinematics. You see this WoW cinematic, and it's like, oh, man, I'll sign up so fast right now for
It's
World
also
of
the thing,
Warcraft.
too, of like, as a non-WoW fan, I thought the trailer did a great job of like really talking about the journey that you've been on with
Really
WoW,
cool.
right? Yeah.
I was surprised that it, like with a trailer like that it wasn't the announcement of it coming to console. Like I feel like that was a lot of World of Warcraft being shown just to talk about the new update, but I understand it because to Mike's point, this is the introduction of it's Xboxes now. You know, it's on PC, but Xbox can be PC as well. Then next up, Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Jesus, another one I didn't want to dream of being here. And then to be here, and it's just the fucking opening Halo jump, and they're talking through. Oh my god!
Hearing the VO, seeing the boss. Are you kidding me, Bless? What'd you think of this?
I mean, this is the one I needed to see, right? Like, up until now, I've been trying to, not be fully like, oh, this is going to be the one, because there's that level of nervousness of Konami's return to Metal Gear Solid, and like, are they going to treat this the right way? Like, is it going to feel less Kojima? Like, what's it going to be? Hearing the voice acting, seeing the gameplay, like I think, the Halo jump was such a good one to use. All the stuff they're doing here, honestly, is like are the right scenes to pull, right? The bridge is so iconic in the game as well. So like getting that in front of us and then seeing, like this alligator thing. There's so much here that is like, oh, this is still, for as weirdly like serious the tone is of this trailer, you can still see the goofy shit, and that's exactly what I want from this. And the environments look fucking fantastic.
I think what really stood out to me was staying as faithful as they are to a lot of Snake's animations. There's a sequence later on in this trailer where he is running towards the camera away from some explosion or gunfire, and it looks like the same sort of like run cycle. I think that's really, really sick. I think, if you try to stray too far, you're going to get a lot of people getting mad that you're ruining their baby, but I think it's really sick that they're trying to stay as faithful as possible.
I was personally disappointed because we didn't see Hot Slot.
Barrett, I want you to
something.
know that this is so special to me as a new Metal Gear Solid fan that I relived all of these moments that I could think of with Barrett and how much fun we had. And when he's fighting those guys in that little base area, all I can think of is like, Eva's going to pull up on that bike, and she's going to backflip that thing off on Ocelot, and I'm going to scream, man.
I'm honestly happy we didn't see them. Like, I feel like showing Snake and showing the boss is all I needed to be like, all right,
totally
this
fair.
feels faithful, this feels good, because I want to save something for the time I'm playing the game, right? Like, I want to be blown away when I see Eva for the first time, or when I see Ocelot, or any of the bosses.
You're going to see all of them before this.
Speaking of when you're playing the game, do we think this still comes out this year?
No. I mean, all signs point to no.
No.
Yeah, I was still holding out hope despite the leaks and stuff, but I think 2025 now. Mike, Sea of Thieves, Season 13, July 25th.
Yeah, I talked about it during the predictions. Sea of Thieves had their big, seasonal showcase talking about the rest of the year, and we talked about Season 13 and beyond. What they showcased there was the big world event where you will take on like the biggest armada ship there is, and you will be put on the map, and everyone will see you on that, and they'll come after you. You essentially become the baddie of that world and instance, and it seems really, really cool, the idea of us on one boat saying we want to be the top dogs and everybody coming after each other is going to be really fun.
Sorry, just real quick, it was in the chat. Somebody was saying that there's going to be a deep dive on the Xbox podcast on Tuesday about Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
What's Jeff and the team up to over there? What are they cooking over there on that Xbox podcast? But yeah, Sea of Thieves continues to do great things, right? I mean, we talk about these live service games and the want and the itch of these companies to have something like that where players can return to spend their time. And what Rare created with Sea of Thieves is really special. They've had incredible DLC, some awesome expansions, and the new seasonal content that they're adding to the sandbox. If you are interested in Sea of Thieves, it's a great time to jump in. And like
it's never been a better time to hop back into Sea of Thieves.
Oh, and the future is looking really cool for that one. I'm truly impressed. I don't think if we all talked about Sea of Thieves years ago when they was first announced, I don't think anyone just like I brought up with another game like ESO, you wouldn't look at it and be like, they're going to go for 10 plus years. Sea of Thieves is doing just that. They're going to go for a long time.
Next up, we saw Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, July 18, 2024, coming to Game Pass. Bless, you were talking about this one. I don't want to say interested.
No, I was just surprised that I thought this is one that had already come out because we've seen this before. And then there was like another similar game that actually did come out. But I think it looks cool, right? Like it's another. I really like how many. I know we've seen this, but how many new IP that we're getting in showcases like these. I think coming off of seeing what was the one we just talked about with the Compulsion, South of Midnight. Like South of Midnight, seeing that, seeing Expedition 33, seeing this, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, we're looking good as far as new games coming to Xbox and new games coming out in the next couple of years. And this one continues to look interesting. I like the setting. I like the style of it. The combat looks interesting. I'm into it.
Cool particle effects, awesome visuals. This looks like it's going to be the perfect 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Like I think it's going to deliver in ways that I'm going to really, really adore, while not being, not telling the best story or having like the best voice acting or writing or whatever. I'm just like super interested in all of these little like game systems that they're presenting with traversal and movement and combat.
Then after this, we got Age of Mythology Retold, September 14th. Mike,
I'm in. I'm always looking for a good RTS. I've never played Age of Mythology. I'm so excited to give this one a try. And yeah, this is one we've been looking at of 2024. Awesome to see it get a release date. So I'm all in on this one. I know it'll be hard for me to convince my friends to come play, so I'll have to make new friends.
Oh, that's about right.
Yeah.
You got to make those new
You like
friends.
RTS? Yeah.
No, I don't like.
next
Real
up.
quick, the date on that's September 4th.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No problem.
Then we got
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Yeah, Perfect Dark. Andy Cortez, what'd you think of this?
I was just excited to see gameplay, period. Like I wasn't sure what I was going to be expecting, but I like that it's this espionage spy sort of like future cyberpunk. You're hacking things. You're probably going to get a lot of stealth kills. Hopefully you could play it a bunch of different ways. I'm just like, I'm glad it's not dead. Like more than anything, I'm just like surprised to have seen it, period. And I'm surprised to have seen like, hey, we're going to show you what a little gameplay, loop could be. Walking through this area, identifying the dudes, going to the X-ray vision. It reminds me a lot of like when we talk about. I mean, when I think about my favorite moments in Cyberpunk and trying to like, how am I going to go about this mission? Who am I going to be hacking? The voice thing also right here reminds me a lot of Bad Boys, Tim.
There you go.
It's still in the voice.
Still in the
from
voice.
Bad Boys.
Greg, plus.
Well, I was gonna say this is one that I do wish had some voiceover of explaining. Hey, this is what a day in Perfect Dark looks like, or like here's what a going through a level looks like. Because I am surprised that we saw it as well. I'm surprised we saw this much of it. I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, so is it like an immersive sim? Because if it is, that's fucking dope. But if it is, I also want to hear more about that. Am I exploring different paths? Am I choosing different ways to approach the same mission? Like, am I gonna have a wildly different play style from Mike when he plays? That's some of the vibe I got. I got a little bit of Deus Ex from it, which could make sense for a Perfect Dark, but I wish they would have explained that more.
Could I give you a few paragraphs
Wow.
off of the
Lay it on
Xbox
us.
Wire? What kind of game is this?
There you go.
Perfect Dark is a first-person secret agent thriller in a near-future world. With the blessing of the original Perfect Dark studio, Rare, not to mention some of the leads from the original titles, Team Perfect Dark has pulled inspiration from elements of the first two games, but crafted an entirely new story and universe around them for this reboot. For previous fans and new players alike, the game will offer a fresh take on the secret agent experience, and is a great opportunity to jump in the world of the character. Though fans will have moments that resonate with the history and memories of the original games, no prior knowledge is needed for this experience. At the widest level, Perfect Dark will be a single-player experience with a set of mission, but with choices offered in how you complete those missions. Looking at the trailer, it's clear that traversal and gadgets are a huge part of this. We see new parkour abilities used throughout, both for movement and combat. The developers tell me the focus was on creating an intuitive movement system, which will let players find interesting ways to tackle their objectives.
That's cool right there. The moment of her shooting the smoke,
Yep.
covering the dude, shooting through the smoke, that's pretty
Add
sick.
to that a combat system that allows for both melee and gunplay, stealth mechanics, and liberal use of gadgets. And Perfect Dark is a game that will present players with an objective, but let them figure out how they want to achieve it. Our Team Perfect Dark doesn't want this to feel like any one genre. It takes elements of first-person shooters, immersive sims, and stealth action, but blends them into a seamless whole. The goal is to offer a true secret agent fantasy, and letting players use their various tools and abilities the way they want to is key.
Yeah. So that sounds exactly what I want.
That sounds fucking awesome. Like when it booted up and I was like, oh, right, Perfect Dark, first person. Not, and then as soon as she started using the gadgets and doing the sounds, I was like, wait, this is leaning more towards a Deus Ex, or leaning in, at least at a view of a game that I would be all about.
On a personal level, like I see this, I totally get other people liking it. I am a little let down just because of expectations I put in my own head of what I thought this game could be from Crystal Dynamics, but totally still willing to be absolutely wrong about that, and love the game when it eventually comes out.
Yeah, very happy with this check-in, right? This is awesome to see this team come out here. I, as someone who grew up with Perfect Dark on N64, had my doubts that this was the right call to bring back this IP of anything else we could have pulled out. To be like, yo, let's go Perfect Dark after Perfect Dark 0 on the Xbox 360. I really didn't think that this would have the staying power to get people on this table excited and out in the world. Like, that's a big deal here. Be interesting. Like you said, single player, no multiplayer. It was known for multiplayer. Will be cool to see the gadgets that we knew from the N64 to Xbox 360. So I am very excited to see this one, and it looked great.
It is one of those situations where I think you could have had any protagonist with a different color hair and called this game anything else than Perfect Dark. Like, I'm with you that, like, when we hear years and years ago that Perfect Dark is coming back, I'm like, anybody want Perfect Dark again? Like, I just
Who's
didn't.
jonesing for this?
I wasn't really feeling like anybody was really clamoring for that IP to return, like in a massive way. Where we're giving this budget, right? So like, I'm in one spot where I'm like, I don't give a shit about Perfect Dark, and it seems like you don't have to know a whole lot about Perfect Dark to even enjoy this experience. And at that point, you can just
Yeah.
I will say, when I think Perfect Dark, I just think crazy weapons and gadgets.
You think about
I
the
think about
laptop guns.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like,
I
you
think
multiplayer
about
with the
bots.
aliens, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Spawn on Me, it's Khalif Adams. Hello, Khalif. You're live on the post show for the Xbox Showcase. How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I was about to ask you a really confidential question, and I can't ask you on air.
That's why I let off with all the information. Go ahead and text me, and I'll answer what I can. I love you. Bye.
Thank you. Beautiful. Bye.
Joanna Dark looks great too. Very awesome to see that iconic look, and it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. So I'm in. It'll be fun.
Here could be more red. I'm a hater. Everybody.
Tim, I fully agree.
I also agree with you.
Then moving on from that, we got Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred.
Let's fucking go.
Come on,
Are you kidding me
man.
right now?
Come on.
October 8th. Amazing cinematic. That was, I feel like especially these days, like putting a cinematic in a showcase is like, we kind of roll our eyes. We're like, all right, we fucking get it. That is how you do it though. Like, make sure the content's there. Make it entertaining. Like, I was enthralled.
Gave me Lords of Destruction vibes from Diablo 2. This expansion. That's what I was looking for. I wanted something. I want a new setting. I want something to wow me. I want a new villain to be scary and sketchy, just like we saw with this. And man, like you said, the cinematic is unbelievable. I can't wait to see the new character class. I really want to know all about it.
Would you like to know about it? Because this is another one of like,
Greg, lay it on me.
so they obviously did this amazing trailer. It's what I think so many people expect from Blizzard, right? Where I think, in the game, this is one of the complaints where they put your character in the cutscenes. So the cutscenes, it was nice to get a full-blown Blizzard thing. But then for the October 8th, a hard date. I love that, of course. Halloween time. Let's go. You know what I mean? And it's got the Halloween colors out there of green, right, Blessing?
Of course.
But then, of course, they said new region, they said new class, and they kind of walked away. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. There'll be a reveal later. The reveal is up. They have all the information out there right now, up on their sites. So let me introduce you to the new class, Spiritborn.
oh damn.
The Spiritborn, this is off of the Diablo site, Barrett, if you ever want B-roll for it, or you can just let the trailer go, it's fine. It's just images. New class, Spiritborn. The Spiritborn, apex predator of the jungle, is poised to strike, battle with styles and mystical synergies that could only be awakened deep beneath the jungle's canopy with an entirely new class to the iconic Diablo series. Learn more about the Spiritborn on July 18th. So July 18th would be... They're not doing BlizzCon this year, right?
No.
It's just a day they're dropping it on. That's cool.
That's pretty fire. Looks cool.
Beyond that, they have the expansion features. Explore new friends, foes, challenges, and evils that await you in the Vessel of Hatred. There's the new region. Expand Sanctuary to discover the new towns and bygone civilizations shrouded in the vast jungle of Nahatnatu. Battle courageously through new dungeons and strongholds and take on new enemies, from ferocious demons to warring tribes, the likes of which only thrive amidst the hellish overgrowth of Kurast or the barren deserts of Tengaza. Continue the campaign, of course. Prepare for the next chapter of Diablo 4. Your search takes you to deep inside the jungle, blah, blah, blah. So it's that. New mercenaries. These are it says recruit powerful allies, new mercenaries. Discover and recruit new mercenaries to join on your quest. These powerful allies fight alongside you, grow in power as they progress, and help you in combat with unique abilities. Then, new co-op endgame activities slay together. Party up and take on the new multifaceted dungeon with powerful challenges and promising rewards. First of its kind to Diablo, this dungeon will require eager warriors to team up and take down the challenge together. Beyond that, it says tons of base game updates.
All Diablo 4 players can venture forward with new pets to aid in gold and material pickup today. Plus, experience more update. Wait, hold on.
All right, we got it. Diablo's doing Diablo.
Diablo's back, Tim. That's all you need to know.
That's great.
Diablo is back, Tim. They did it.
Awesome. I mean, honestly, I think they did it right. Show a dope cinematic. If you need the information, find it somewhere else. We don't need to hear all that in the showcase. It was around.
Whoa, though. The thing is that the pets are available today if you pre-order the fuck. I got to pre-order this goddamn thing.
He's got to get on it.
I think it was around here that Matt Booty came out, which was
he came out right before this.
Before
And
this,
I
it
thought
was the bridge between
I was
Perfect
like,
Dark
oh,
and
Perfect
this.
Dark's the end.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sad.
I was like very, very impressed with the pacing of the trailers back to back. Having Phil at the beginning, having Matt Booty in the middle, and then Sarah Bond at the end. I feel like they came at the right points, said the right things, and if it ended here, I feel like this still would have been a very solid showcase. And it was halfway done, and we just had so much more after, which is just incredibly impressive. Next up, we had Fable 2025. Who wants to go on this?
I was just really blown away by it. I think the first time it was shown off, I thought the tone was perfect, and this time around, the tone is still perfect, and the comedy is hitting.
Hilarious.
And I just love the premise that this sort of story is setting up, and it just seems like one thing I'm interested in is how are any of these moments going to be implemented into the game? Are they going to be implemented in the game? Are they just for trailers? But we know that like they're an engine at least, which is awesome. And then the way the gameplay looks, it's pretty much every game today. It's like, man, like this is going to be as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Like I was just very, very stunned by the visuals, and I love kind of seeing the slice of life of what you'll be doing in these towns, talking to NPCs, adventuring, dealing with a little snark here and there, and seeing the abilities in action when she's battling near the mountain. Big frog right there, really cool for audio
Big
listeners.
frog.
Big frog on
we got
screen.
that was so much like that guy. Like I screwed up. I said something I shouldn't have said. Deep fly fit. It's a home run. And anyway,
A home run by Castellanos to left field. This looks awesome. I'm still stoked for it. As somebody who's traditionally never really been a Fable dude, I'm really, really into this and what they've been showing off.
Mikey?
I mean, come on, Playground Games. Can you believe this? The Forza Horizon team has cooked up something that looks that good, and it's going to be hopefully that much fun. I mean, Fable is a beloved franchise over on the Xbox side. The choice that you have to be who you want to be and do what you want to do, and to see the little pieces of Albion hopefully walking around in here is going to be really dope. I'm looking forward to this game even more, and it's on the horizon. It's beyond, but we'll get there eventually.
And this is a good thing to say, I think, right now, as a nice little aside, right? Because we're talking about a bunch of games that we're all stoked for that are 2025, that are no date whatsoever. They did such a good job, I feel, of peppering in not only the 2024 stuff like we've talked about, but also stuff that is available now and little teases for it, right? Like Andy looked at me, I'm logging into Diablo to go get the pet now, right? And it's like the fact that there's those exciting things happening. Granted, not every game's for every person, so I know that doesn't work, but it's like this doesn't feel like the Xbox showcases we've got in the past where like, all right, this is nothing is happening, but down the road they're gonna have the games. They're doing stuff right now that make you want to actually play this stuff.
Who would have thought Fable was going to be this good? You know what I mean? Like, how exciting. Come on now.
Fragpunk 2025.
Tell me all about
I
this.
played
I was
Fragpunk.
gonna say this is our first SGF preview, right? That we've talked about on air.
Yeah,
Andy's played that. The embargo is now up.
Yeah, I played Fragpunk. I got a chance to play it. I was kind of really into it. I was very surprised by it initially when I sit there and it's unannounced FPS title. I'm like, ooh, what's this gonna be? And I sit down. It's a 5v5 hero shooter, search and destroy type of game. It's Valorant. It's Siege. Rainbow Six Siege. It's Call of Duty Search and Destroy. One team's planting a bomb, the other team tries to defuse it at multiple sites. Where the big twist is every round you get, it has sort of like roguelite elements to it, where you and your squad, as you go through rounds, will be collecting these little points, and at the start of the game, you'll have certain cards that you can all put points towards that will change something in the game to benefit you, benefit a squad mate. Hey, let's all go for the card that, if we all have our points, we could save it for this card where we can heal each other with like bullets or whatever. Or we can do this card that allows us to peek into the enemy's viewpoint at one point during the match. And there's all
that's
sorts
cool.
there's all sorts of little things like that that really make that experience super fresh. The gunplay felt fucking great. It sounded awesome.
Please don't curse.
All that feedback was really, really damn good. But I was like weirdly vibing with it. And I initially I thought like, oh, this is gonna be one of those pains to try to balance, you know. And so I was asking the devs like, what happens when something just gets so overly popular and one card is like clearly, and he was like, well, I think if something's overly popular, that also can mean that we designed it really well, but we can find ways to tune around, you know, hey, nobody's picking this card. Let's try to like make that cost less. Cause you know, when you,
That's cool.
I forgot exactly how you are gaining these little like tokens. And in the trailer, if Barrett brings it up one more time, you see like every card has 4 or 5 diamond slots up top. Some are 3, and those may be the less beneficial ones, where one of the perks was like, if an enemy walks near a doorway, it'll alert you. And so like you can kind of get an eye into where the enemy is. I was just like weirdly into it. I was like, this is pretty sick. And visually, it's kind of got like that overdone visual style that we've seen from like Ubisoft way back in the day, with like Far Cry and Rage 2. It was another title that reminds me of like super extreme. Everything's like extremely colorful and fun looking. But all the different heroes have all of their different passive abilities as well. One of them has a slide. One of them busts out like a shotgun or like a rocket launcher type thing. Super fascinating, but I think more importantly, the gunplay felt absolutely incredible.
That's great. Yeah, this reminded me of Friend versus Friend. Me and Nick were playing that card game where it's the 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, and you're using the cards throughout the round. So it is a fun little gimmick to add to these, first-person team arena shooters.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what that is. I like the big head mode there that just popped up.
Yeah.
Looks fun and cute.
Make the enemy team go big head mode, and not just for visuals. It's easier headshot. Like that's such a simple thing to think about, but it worked really well as we were kind of like. The person I was demoing with, we were playing against bots, but he would just be like, what card should we save up for? What card should we go for? I don't know. I had a really good time with it. I was very surprised with my experience. It was one of those where I'm like, I'll get to the next appointment after this one. We'll just kind of like trudge through this, but I had a great time.
I want you to know we solved Khalif's embargoed
fantastic.
thing, so that's all set.
Good.
But we have a problem.
Uh-oh.
Because when you talk about Khalif
Mm-hmm.
and you talk about Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
that can mean only one thing. Paris Lily's going to come in swinging. Welcome to the show, Paris Lily. Hello, Paris.
Hey, I just want all of you to say that you were wrong and I was right. That's all I want to hear.
Tell him.
Wrong about what?
Paris,
What?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Oh, I think it's a 6. I think it's a 6.5.
I freaking said 8 every time. I forget.
I said my hype level
Our
was a
hype
6.
levels. We weren't predicting the review score of the show.
We were predicting
Even your hype levels. You were wrong in your hype
Your
levels.
opinions
I
were
Tell
totally
him, Paris.
I don't know if I can be wrong in my hype level. I don't think that's how that works.
Paris, there's no proof of that I said anything like that. Okay, you can't find that proof.
I mean, I'm happy
leading the episode now.
your hype levels were appropriate because, damn, what a show.
Yeah, it was a hell of a show. I mean, I think this is probably the best thing that they've done. I won't say ever, but probably in the last 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
The focus was on the games, like from start to finish. They were showing compelling games that I wanted to play with reasonable release windows, 2024, 2025. Obviously, the big one at the end being Gears of War E-Day I'm glad that didn't get spoiled. I'm glad Grubb or Tom Henderson or someone didn't put that out there, and we had a nice surprise that that's the direction they're going with that. I thought, Tim, I guess what made me call in was I heard Tim was saying, and maybe I was a little off. It sounded like you were a little disappointed with Perfect Dark, but I thought it showed very well. That's what I wanted to see.
I'm not disappointed by it. I'm disappointed personally for my taste in games and what I would expect for what I would hope a Perfect Dark would be. But like honestly, I'm happy it looks like it is because I feel like that's going to be a better served option for people that are going to play that type of game. Like I'm fine with it looking the way it did to me. I think it looks great, just not for me.
May I ask a question to Paris? Paris, of course, you were there watching at the theater, correct? I'd love to know, what was the theater experience like? What was the vibe of the Xbox fan base coming out of it?
Crowd was very excited. I mean, when you had reveals like a Perfect Dark at the end, I mean, everyone started applauding. Like they were excited about that. They were excited when they saw Fable. You know what I mean? Obviously, Gears at the end, was a showstopper. So overall, it was great. It was good to be in the crowd and have that energy as we're watching it, but I do think Xbox knocked it out of the park. I really do.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Parris. Have fun down there still.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Paris.
Bye,
Love you.
Paris.
Bye. Love you too. Not Greg.
You son of a fucking bitch.
He was on my side the whole time. See?
Next up, we got Winter Burrow, early 2025. It's coming to Game Pass. This is a little mouse game.
I needed to
Bouncing
see
around.
what the actual gameplay was, though. Like
You saw it.
It kind of felt like there were moments where I'm like, are they playing the wrong audio from a different trailer over what this is? Like you're walking around a whole lot, and I just didn't know like.
It looks like it's crafting, right? We were talking and going, but you'll see him. He picks stuff up, and then he has to craft outfits, and he's going to the thing. And I think you're trying to fix the bridge to get to the thing. It looks like it's a little cute crafting, crawling around, survivalish game.
I thought it was cute. I just kind of like I don't know. I thought when we first see it pop up, I'm like, ooh, whatever this is.
Would you like some information officially?
I sure would. Yeah.
Developer Pine Creek Games and publisher Noodlecake just revealed their new game, Winter Burrow, during the showcase. It's a cozy woodland survival game about a big city mouse returning home to fix up their childhood hero. Here's the bullet pointed list, all right? It's a cozy woodland survival game. Explore, gather resources, craft tools, knit warm sweaters, bake pies, and meet the locals. In Winter Burrow, you play as a mouse who returns from the big city to make matters worse. Your aunt gone missing. Restore your broke down childhood.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
The big owl took your aunt?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what swooped down. She's building a bridge to see her ants.
Fuck, man.
It's a cozy approach to survival. Winter Burrow is a
crazy.
survival game you play at your own pace. Customize your character, decorate your burrow, and choose a path that fits your play style. This story is yours to tell. What we need now is Joey Noelle to call in and let us know if this got her going, or if she's like, I don't want to be a mouse. I don't want to be a big
Yeah, I
city
saw the
mouse.
mouse. I'm like, well, I'm in. Then I saw the rest of them.
I need the survival game about the owls to be like, well, shit, they were justified in getting this mouse. Like, he's trying to feed his family over there, you know?
Some other updated information that I am actually pretty surprised by. Doom the Dark Ages confirmed for PS5.
Whoa.
That's a interesting thing that I'm sure we'll talk more about probably on Games Daily tomorrow or something. But yeah, Mike, you got
Legacy
something
title.
now?
I mean, that's one of those. That's the blurred lines that we live in with Xbox, right? That is the new approach of this. They talked about legacy titles in the first Bethesda purchase. You would assume that Doom is part of that legacy title collection of, hey, it was already out on these. We're going to continue to serve that audience. And now we kind of live in a different world where I think it is a good conversation for us to have on Games Daily and Gamescast in the future of like, what is that? Because we do know that Xbox does look at, exclusives and publishing on different platforms in a different light now that isn't just, hey, everything you saw here is never coming to anything else. Here you go. It's a different world now. So, yeah.
Moving on from that, we got Mixtape from Beethoven and Dinosaur 2025. I was saying that South of Midnight was one of my games of the show. This is easily the game of the show. Artful Escape was my game of the year in 2021. Loved it so much. Loved the style. Loved the writing. Loved the music and just the overall experience. And this looks so next level. This seems like one of those dream games. I'm so impressed with this.
Like, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, Greg Ass game. Right. I mean, the press release I have is Mixtape, coming of age action adventure. I was like, yeah, of course, that's me. But to then continue, set to iconic soundtrack announced by Annapurna. I mean, come on. Like, this looks incredible. I wonder what gameplay will actually be. What are we actually doing? Is it more that I am just watching a movie and then there's skating sections and stuff like that? I'm actually trying to answer my own questions. I don't care either way. Like, this looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick, like Artful Escape, I'd say, quote unquote, gameplay light, more experience focused, and I really appreciated that. Bless.
Yeah, I would say this has captured me more than even Artful Escape did, right? Artful Escape, when I played it, I wasn't as into it as Tim was, but I look at this and it looks so dynamic from all the different things they're doing and all the different scenes that we're seeing. The skateboarding down the hill, I don't expect that to be fucking Tony Hawk or anything like that, but it just looks fun. It looks like a good time, right? Like, if this is going to be one of those narrative games that is taking me from scene to scene and is more of an experience, it looks like one of those ones that's going to hit, right? As far as, hey, yeah, like you're going to walk around in this room, you're going to skate around in this thing, you're going to like fucking go side scrolling for a second. I could be down for that kind of thing. And yeah, the story sounds really interesting.
Let me give you a little bit of the press release here. Okay. Of course, the iconic artists like the trailer showed, but if you're an audio listener, maybe Devo, Roxy Music, Lush, The Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, Susies, I don't know who that is, and the Banshees, Joy Division. Anyways, Mixtape follows 3 teenagers as they prepare to graduate high school and leave their Northern California hometown. En route to their final party together, a perfectly curated playlist draws them into dreamlike reenactments of pivotal moments that shaped them. Players will immerse themselves in the teenage wasteland by playing through a mixtape of joyful gameplay. From skateboarding and flying to taking photos after hours at an abandoned theme park, hitting baseballs and putting on a fireworks show from the backseat of a car. It's the greatest hits of teenage friendship from the first kiss to the last dance.
Damn.
I love
Fuck
that.
yes.
And that
I got
everything you
chills
just said-
reading that.
Everything you just said, Greg, directed by someone named Johnny Galvatron.
Oh shit.
Come
Johnny.
on, man.
It just looks awesome. Yeah, it's like who's gonna be a fan of this game? Like, hey, you got a friend in your life who loved like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist or whatever. Like, they're gonna love this game. I think like anything direction wise in this game was just like, what's the most creative way we can evoke an emotion, get something across here, and like everything in that sequence that we saw, the black and white moment where all the books are floating. Somebody's riding a brontosaurus at the end. May have been a brachiosaurus, Tim. I didn't get to see the fin on top of the head, but it looked absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, there was one side-scroller shot that looked like Artful Escape, just with a little more stop motion. I'm
Yeah,
like,
the
oh,
little
man.
slide under
This is
the
exciting.
slide under the slide actually is what
There
it
we
was.
go. There we go.
Why don't you slide?
Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, November 19th.
Cool. I mean, you know, it's not for everyone, Tim, but gosh darn it, is it going to be fun. And the addition of these activities and jobs to be able to do in what is Microsoft Flight Sim, an incredible experience, is going to be really, really awesome. I mean, me and Nick Scarpino took it to the limit, okay? We don't know if you know, Tim, but we hit Mach 10, okay? We were the fastest human beings on the planet.
In the Black Star, right?
On the planet.
In the Black Star, bro. It was unbelievable, Tim. And so they've added Dune stuff where you got to fly the ornithopter, which is really dope. But this is what I've wanted, right? I wanted to see what they can do inside of the world of Microsoft Flight Sim that isn't take off, fly to a destination, land, right? Like what fun things, cool activities could you do? We talked about like stadium flybys for those iconic shots that you see for the Super Bowl and more. What is a wildlife rescue look like, right? Where you are putting out a wildfire out in the Sierra Nevada mountain range is going to be dope. So I'm very excited for this. I can't wait to see what they've done. And man, all the improvements and the updates that they've done to the world to make it look so real is really, really awesome.
Elder Scrolls Online 10-year celebration. Gold Road coming June 19th. You can play all the DLC for free now. Cool.
Good game. I'm truly blown away that it's still kicking and going so strong. There was a time in my life where I played a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. Had a sick PvP back in the day, Tim.
Oh, wow.
3 warring factions
I heard
on
about
one map.
this.
It was sick. It was a really cool PvP idea back in the time of these kind of big MMOs. But 10 years, wow. Truly wow. I'm blown away here.
And then throughout the show, we've been talking about, getting updates on some games, some new IPs being announced. But here we got as far as I remember and can understand, genuine surprise sequel announcement with Life is Strange Double Exposure coming October 29th. Bless.
I can't believe it. Like, True Colors feels like it just came out. That must have been 2022?
Yeah.
2021 maybe?
I think that was 21.
Was it 21? It feels not that long ago.
Yeah, it was because I remember that was a work from home game of the year that we did.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, it looks interesting, sounds interesting. It being a return to Max
2021.
Caulfield as a main character is very fascinating to me. Like, if you're somebody who's followed along with like the studios that have done Life is Strange, it started off with what's the name of the original studio? Don't Nod. Yeah, and then it got turned over to Deck 9 as Deck 9 started making the games from Square Enix. But Don't Nod were the ones that started the Max Caulfield story, right? Yeah. And as Deck 9 came through, like True Colors was really their baby and had a new character and had a new story and felt like like this studio is finding a way to make Life is Strange their own. I think that for me, that's the biggest reason I'm surprised that we're going back to Max Caulfield as a main character, her having new powers. One, I imagine that means they picked an official ending for the game, which might be a little controversial. But then also,
the other thing too is I can't remember if the comic book was canon. Chat, if you know, let me know. They did a comic where we were bopping around realities like this, where we had saved Chloe, we hadn't saved Chloe, and this, that, and the other, and also Amber from Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Oh yeah,
which was the prequel they had done about that or whatever. So it's like there's a not messy timeline, but there's been a lot of other examinations of Max and Chloe, so it's interesting to go back to what I would consider a truly canon thing here they're doing. I love the idea of it. I love that they're sitting here going, it's been 10 years, I haven't used my powers. Like, that's a great thing. It does make me wince, because has it really been 10 years since Life is Strange 1?
I mean, Life is Strange 1 was
probably has
2015.
been, right?
Yeah, by next year, we'll have been exactly 10 years.
God damn, yeah. So, like, I'm super stoked to return to it. It's interesting, yeah, everything you're saying of Deck 9 now taking on Max. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
Great visual evolution.
yeah, of course.
And they developed before the storm, so it's not like they've not told a Max Caulfield story. Or actually, no, that was Chloe. So yeah, I guess they haven't really done a Max Caulfield centered story.
Yeah.
I will say there is a bit of mixed.
Comics aren't canon according to Irish Nexus. Thank you.
I do have like a little bit of mixed feelings here because not that long ago we talked about an investigative report into Deck 9 where they're having a lot of studio trouble regarding like toxic work culture, and then also like there was the big thing where they were sneaking these dog whistles into or they're trying to sneak dog whistles into True Colors. I forget if they actually did it successfully, but that was a conversation.
Yeah, it was one guy. I don't remember.
It was like one of the higher, like one of like I think the leads there, some main person over there doing that. But yeah, that's probably the biggest reason I'm surprised to see it here and surprised to see this game announced for this year. I thought they would have been busy figuring that stuff out, but fascinating, cool to see more Life is Strange. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're referencing a Rebecca Valentine story at IGN from April, how hidden Nazi symbols were the tip of a toxic iceberg at Life is Strange developer Deck 9. And it's obviously a required reading. It's quite long as Reb goes on.
We got next up Indiana Jones, The Great Circle, coming 2024. Bless, I want to start with you on this one.
I think this trailer wasn't the best trailer, but I'm still super excited for this game. I forget what who started the conversation of like there's something about this trailer that seems slow or the action just felt
something feels
weird.
off.
Yeah, something felt off about it, but I think all the content of the trailer was good as far as all the Indiana Jonesnesses of it, right? Like all the dialogue, all of like kind of the goofy action and stuff that's going on feels so Indiana Jones, and I'm still very invested in it. But yeah, there was something about this trailer where I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but visually, like I feel like the hits aren't hitting.
What's interesting is I feel like that's a choice, and I clearly I don't think that choice is going to pay off for them entirely. But I feel like they're emulating the 80s action movie style.
Exactly what I wrote down.
It is slower, and like some of the punches don't actually hit, and like even just hearing the John Williams music, whether he composed this or not, like that it was adapted, whatever.
People move faster now, Tim.
That is true. That is true. But it very much had the vibe and like the pacing of one of the classic movies, which I think is really cool. But I just don't know necessarily if that's what people want from a video game.
Yeah, I agree. I wrote down that exact same thing. It feels like they're trying to stay faithful to action in movies that were made in the 70s and 80s. Like you're not going to see anybody doing a wall run kick to the head. Like that's just not what those movies were about. And so to see, I think like visually the game looks stunning. Like they're doing such a great job with lighting, and like you were mentioning, Mike, a little bit later on we see all the little icicles and snow on that dude's eyelashes and stuff. Like all those little details are really, really damn cool. But then you see like somebody get punched, and it just looks like it's lacking a whole lot of movement or like force, I guess. I don't know. I was kind of underwhelmed by this section.
Me too. And I hate saying that because I like Indiana Jones. I enjoy the movies, and so they're not my favorite movies. But you bring any movie to a video game, I'm usually more excited. But there's something about this that I'm not going 10 out of 10 excitement, even 8 out of 10 excitement. Like I'm interested. I'm going to play it. I hope it pays off, and I enjoy a cinematic game. But there's something about it right now that isn't demoing well this way. Maybe hands on sticks will be different. The gameplay does look fast. The gameplay is punching people in the face over and over again. It's just something about this that isn't meshing. I don't know why.
I'm the complete opposite. This took me to the 10 out of 10 hype level because, as Barrett knows on the XCast, I've been the biggest hater of Indiana Jones. I wanted more Wolfenstein 3. I didn't believe that Indy would really have a place here and the right call for this team. But watching this is the first time where I've walked away going, man, we got a hit on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. I am jazzed up for Indiana Jones, and I'm really excited for, what I think Xbox fans have always wanted is that cool globe-trotting adventure like you see on the other side with Uncharted, right? I've always wanted that. I needed that, and I'm excited now that, like, Indiana Jones looks like that. And sure, we'll feel it, and we'll see what it looks like on hands on sticks, but, like, right here, this whole segment was so much fun. I was so on it. I can't wait.
Next up, we got Mecha Break 2025. Beta coming August 2024. And
Looks like a game I'll play for a little bit. I'll probably play it for a little bit, Tim. But I think it looks like a different version of what Armored Core Combat is, which is, I think, so much better than what I've seen when we played whatever Gundam game came out that was 5v5 Overwatch style, where you're just kind of like, you're all running on the ground. I love the
That was
idea
a Gundam game, right?
Yeah, I thought it was Gundam, right?
Yeah, it was a Gundam 5v5 game where it was basically Overwatch, you're pushing the payload, that sort of thing, but it all still felt very much like you were humans in Gundam suits. And this, seeing this fast action, breakneck pace, like, it looks visually cool as shit, and I love the visual style of everything. I'm going to work really hard creating the perfect mech that I want, and then I'll probably bounce out to something else, Tim. But it looks fun. Like, I usually wouldn't vibe with a multiplayer game like this, because I feel like there's been a lot of mech games that have let me down in the past, and Armored Core was really the one that kind of like pushed me over the edge and be like, holy shit, this is a lot of fun, and this looks really damn cool.
I'm kind of with you that I really want to try this out. I think Armored Core kind of put the itch in me of like, I played a bit of the multiplayer, but I didn't play a lot of the Armored Core multiplayer because I was more just invested in the single player stuff. This being hey, we're focusing in on the multiplayer side of it and watching the gameplay. It looks quick, it looks fast. One of my big things with mech games that don't work with me oftentimes is like, I feel like a lot of them can feel a bit slower. I go back to Damon Ex Machina and I was like, why do I feel like I'm fucking playing in sand right now? But this looks quick, this looks fast. I like the flying around. I like how much visual stimulation there is on screen. Like, it's doing something for me.
Next up, I need help for this name because I thought it was named something and I was stoked on the name, and then they showed the real name and I was like, oh, what? And I didn't get it written down.
Wuchang?
Wuchang is how I would say it, but I'm an idiot.
Game looks sick.
Yeah, the tagline was like, never die less or something.
Like
Yeah,
that.
that was the first thing that popped up. It's Wuchang Fallen Feathers is the full title. They had a cool thing right before they put that up. That
looks sick as hell.
Yeah, I'm literally, that's what I have written down. Looks sick as fuck.
Nasty, yeah.
This epic journey puts the player in challenging encounters with battle crazed bandits, deformed human giants, and massive demonic monsters with two-handed swords, axes, and ancient gunpowder weapons. Set in the chaotic final years of the Ming Dynasty. All right, well, I think we might be making some historical liberties here.
Well, there's a lot of Chinese mythology.
Yeah, it's an exploration of the hauntingly beautiful landscapes of Imperial China and the battle against a mysterious force that transforms a grim reality to supernatural horror.
I feel like we've gotten a lot of games that feel like they've kind of tackled a similar style as far as what give a character a sword, fast fucking action, and I don't get tired of it. Keep doing it.
Keep doing that. Yeah,
Keep doing it because I'm
like
gonna eat it up every single time. This looks great.
Yeah, give me creative bosses, give me awesome moments and, stunning second phases where I go, fucking God, you got a second phase? I use all my heals already. Really excited.
Then Mike, Avowed.
I'm still a little lukewarm on this, but you know what? I did appreciate a little bit more of the lore and the story behind this game. I don't know if it's just me and the mood I'm currently in of what I'm looking to play, but Avowed just still hasn't screamed to me, hey, it's time to jump in. And I felt that way about Outer Worlds as well. I think I'm just looking for something different from that team over at Obsidian. And so, yeah, Avowed, nice little moment. I don't think we didn't go into a deep dive. We've done that before, right? And I was surprised we didn't get a date. It does feel like this is the time where it's like, okay, Avowed probably should get a date here. Like, let's knock this out. But for what I saw, is okay.
I will push back on that. My thought, of course, we didn't get a date. But then I think it's to what you just said that I think when Avowed is ready and they have the date, they're going to do a deep dive. I think they do have to do a 20-minute, 15-minute, whatever.
Didn't we do that with the Xbox developer?
And I felt like it was kind of soft. I felt
Another
like we all
one?
Yeah, because I think, this looks way more visually interesting, I think, than what we saw last time.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot going on in this world. So now you get in there and who are the factions and what are the things and why. The whole game is about picking a side, right? Like, I clearly need to know each one of those sides before I get in there.
It's so wild because, like, this game in certain moments can look like the most, like, I don't want to say next gen, the most like, holy shit, they are using the most futuristic tech possible. And in the next shot, it'll look like Elder Scrolls Online. It's just, I'm in such a weird place with this, and I feel like this one, I may have liked the prior showing a bit more because I liked seeing what these conversation paths can lead down to with certain different characters. There's some cool magic and cool abilities that we saw in that recent showing, but I'm still like, I think I'm more kind of sitting on the fence for this one this time around. Like, I don't know if I'm going to love this game. And I thought, like, early on, hey, there's a lot of doubt out there. I'm going to love this. I can tell. And now I'm, like, feeling less and less so.
This is the trailer that made me think, oh, man, I really got to get this off my fantasy critic team. Like, I got to move this somewhere else. If you guys are looking to trade, let me know.
No one wants to trade with you, Bless.
Yeah, but I don't want to use my one drop. And they're not going to.
Maybe
I
we'll
think
talk
this
after
needs
this
to be
game.
your one
Let's talk
drop.
about
Maybe we'll talk after this game.
Really quick, we can say whatever we want about the game, but this
So-
art is still the
Sick.
sickest art.
Yeah.
Avatar. AtomFall 2025.
This was an interesting one. The trailer showed a lot, but it didn't tell us much.
It was a little phone booth.
Exactly. And I haven't actually checked my email. Hold on, let's see if I have anything else for you on AtomFall. I do. Okay, here we go. So, because this looked interesting,
It's like
and
an alternate
Fallout-like.
history sort of thing?
I'm jumping straight into it here, right? Yeah, this is today's press release. It's immediate release. Great. Rebellion, the independent game studio behind the smash hit Sniper Elite and Zombie Army franchises, has today revealed AtomFall, a brand new survival action game set in the rolling British countryside. Announced at Xbox, AtomFall is inspired by the real-life events of the 1957 wind-scale disaster in the north of England, picking up the story 5 years after the fire in a fictionalized quarantine zone. It'll launch in 2025, Game Pass, every PlayStation, you name it, it's there.
This felt out of place in this showcase to me.
I feel like I just need more concrete stuff on it. You know? Like, I think it looks like a game I would play, you know, kind of because it looks like a Fallout, right? But then it's jumping around. I was just like, I don't know. And it's fine, I guess, whatever. But I'm trying to see if there's anything in these quotes because I thought there were.
The logo is just so off for me, also.
This is from the CEO. AtomFall is a new story based in a real disaster and told in the speculative fiction style typical of the 50s/60s Britain. So players can expect to see post-war Britain, Cold War paranoia, and mysterious folk horror blended with elements inspired by classic British sci-fi.
But Andy, don't you get it? It's like the atom for atom, and then for fall they use like the kind of motion of falling.
It's falling. It also looks
it?
like a superhero logo in a cartoon.
I mean, it looks like something you see in Fallout, right? Like they have so many different plays on the words and the nuclears and stuff like that. Worth pointing out, I saw this when we were closing up shop on the last YouTube video, the actual reaction stream. We had a super chat there from Shepperton Studios who super chatted and said, "Please like AtomFall. It's what I worked on, lol." So we're hopeful for it. We'd love to see more of that. We don't know. And when I went to pull that one, I found this one, which is about the Fallout thing. Calvin Perez super chat and said, "Would mean a lot if you guys could give a shout out to Shannon for doing a great job in the Fallout 76 trailer. She had to keep it quiet and asked me every week if it came out and if you talked about it." I don't know who Shannon is, but the trailer was good. So there you go. Good job, Shannon. Thanks for being on. You were on the phone? I don't know.
We got Assassin's Creed Shadows November 1st.
Could be the one, Tim.
Could be the one. Could be the one. Was this the first time we saw gameplay of this?
In engine, yes. Because I thought this was shown at SGF, but I was thinking about Outlaws.
We get more tomorrow at Ubisoft, but like I said at the top of the show, right? They have had some great third party support here to have Assassin's Creed, which we knew was kind of going to be probably everywhere, but like this just adds to it. Of like, man, another great Assassin's Creed, especially one that fans have always dreamt of and wanted, and it's at your showcase getting shown. It only helps.
Looks great. Can't wait. I'm excited for. I mean, this and Outlaws, right? For Ubi tomorrow. I'm super stoked to see what's all about there.
I had a typo. Yeah, it's November 15th, not November 1st.
Also, Shannon was the card girl, apparently, Calvin said over there. So great job being the card girl, Shannon.
Stalker 2, September 5th, Game Pass.
Looks good, Tim. I want to play this, right? This is one we've been on hold for quite some time, and it's great to see that the devs are back and, you know, getting this out in front of everybody. And I'm hoping that this delivers. This should be a fun single-player, first-person shooter adventure that's going to get a little weird, going to get a little wacky, and I'm interested in this.
I thought it was stunning. I'm kind of like, is it going to be too scary for me? I'm in that sort of camp right now. But I thought like I'm hoping if you can deliver a really cool narrative with wild twists and turns, I guess combined with not only like these amazing visuals, but the gunplay sounds so damn good too. I'm really excited for this.
We got the announcement of the all-digital Series X. It's white, 1 terabyte. We're also getting a limited edition 2 terabyte black with disc option with a sick little green stand.
But it's also sparkly.
I like
Oh,
this,
was it?
Tim.
Oh, the black console itself? Didn't see. I was
it looked good.
I was zoned in on the white
The guy
one.
had the green back on the controller and the green bottom on this console too. I like that.
It was called like the sparkly edition or some shit. I forgot.
I knew you were gonna like the
Yeah,
white
Alex
one.
said something.
All digital. I have
Yeah,
personally gone all digital on a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much everything now for the past couple generations. So I would like this moving forward. But man, I like that sparkly one. I have the Halo collection one, and that kind of sparkles with some cool Halo, starlights and stuff. So maybe I get crazy and get that one.
Greggy?
The energy in my chest when I was like, "Oh, she about to reveal the handheld, show me an Xbox handheld."
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of surprising that no handheld. I mean, not surprising, but like no handheld and no Activision back catalog coming to Game Pass conversation. Like that I thought was a for sure. She then did say we're hard at work on the next generation, which she didn't need to say.
They're pushing it forward.
Yeah.
I think they're going to launch the next generation or like a year early. I think we're getting that new Xbox in 2026. That's my prediction.
Yeah. I mean, because that is weird she said it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it was what? It was reported, or it was in like I think a company talk or something a few weeks ago, and we talked about it on KFGD, and it was a thing of like, all right, like why are you talking about next gen now, right? What's the plan? I think maybe the plan could be, hey, if we're able to maybe launch a year before PlayStation, maybe we're able to like build up a bit more of a player base in that year one. Having a next gen Call of Duty, having a next gen Xbox first party games, third party games, maybe get that excitement going a year before, and hopefully that starts to get some of that mind share over to Xbox. That's my very loose guess on why they might be talking about it this early.
and then we got the one more thing. I love how they set it up. I love that they actually called it out, that we got one more thing, and it was a Gears prequel, Gears of War E-Day. Mike?
It's so hyped, Tim. Come on. Gears of War back 15 years before the first one. Dom and Marcus, young dudes. I mean, they even said in the big Xbox Wire, which you can go check out and read, this is before the Lancer chainsaw machine gun, too.
Oh, wow.
So maybe we'll see it at the end. Maybe they create that. But, like, this is it. This is what you wanted. The brotherhood, the tale between these two, and the idea of having a prequel. This isn't a one-off. This is where the team wanted to go. They have down at the end of it, like, what is the future of Gears? They're not leaving 4 and 5, they said, but this is what the team wanted to pursue. They wanted to get back to these guys and this story and make something really special. And so to have a prequel to Gears of War and onward, I'm really jazzed up. I cannot wait to see what they do and where they go with this. Like I said before, how do you capture that, essence of being scared and seeing this new threat that you never knew of, right? Because we've played decades of Gears now at this point. Like, I know all about the Locust Horde. I don't know if you can give me something new, but we've always talked about how Gears
Forget
has
everything you know.
that kind of gritty, dark sense to it that many other Microsoft properties has. I think they can nail this. And this is going to be the team. The Coalition is that Unreal team. This is the team that people in Microsoft go to and say, yo, help us. How do we get this even better? This is the squad that we're looking to really showcase that.
Yeah, very cool. They pulled it off. And then that was the end of the showcase. It then transitioned to the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 breakdown. I thought the production on this was fantastic. I think it was as good as the Starfield one in terms of production value and all that. And I hope that they continue this format going forward. We talked about that a little earlier, but this just works. Obviously, if you're not interested in the game, I don't think that these deeper dives are ever truly going to like sway you. But I think if you watch, they I think did a pretty good job of like really speaking to the fans clearly. Like if you guys
Mike
watched the
was
live
freaking
reaction,
out.
Mike was freaking the fuck out. But I feel like that was a good use of time for them. And I'm excited to see what they place there next year and after that.
Not a fan. Call of Duty just doesn't do it for me, and I have to every year fight myself when I say the campaign could be. Maybe this is the campaign, similar to Assassin's Creed, right? This could be the one, and it never is. Still, as a non-fan, gorgeous game, looks amazing as always. What you'd expect. Game looks smooth, and then I thought it was really well shot. Part of these reviews and post shows are all about critiquing how it was actually presented. I thought they did a great job of going in between these two studios, having people sitting, having people standing, having fun with it, and having it feel like they were talking rather than I'm reading off a prompter and I don't want to.
Yeah, a lot of people that are really good at hosting at Activision specifically. Like all the camera work was fantastic. Like Greg said, it felt very natural, and like whether it be prompt reads or whether it be you can tell like there's an interview segment with certain developers, it all felt good. I believed the words they were saying. Right, it felt like there was genuine excitement, and I think the timing of this Call of Duty having this developer direct, right? I think it timed out perfectly because it is Black Ops. And I think there is just an excitement when it comes to Black Ops compared to other Call of Duty brands. I know Modern Warfare is also very exciting, but like, I guess for me personally, I just love Black Ops compared to the other ones. This one had me engaged. This one had me remembering why I get excited about Black Ops. And I'm like, oh shit, fuck, it's going to be one of those years. And so I think the direct did what it needed to do.
Looks like an awesome campaign. The Omni movement system, updating that and letting you slide in any direction you want, letting you have all this like contextual movement. I really enjoyed how them showing like when you're walking up to a doorway, your gun like automatically kind of tilts, and if you go through fast, it like does it less so, and just having all those like, you know, we can't really do much at this point to really launch you into the next century of what a first-person shooter could be. Like there's only so much you could do to iterate, but here's all these little improvements we can make and that we may have wanted to make in the past but just didn't have the resources to or the tech to. Now these things exist. I think it's pretty exciting.
Before we go, I do want to lightning round through a lot of the super chats y'all have been sending in. Thank you again for hanging out with us all day. War Table Entertainment says, are you guys reacting to Dragon Age impressions and Showcase Tuesday? We're going to have to figure out the rest of the week's schedule, so I don't want to promise anything right now. I'm going to say probably not as like a live thing, but I imagine we'll talk about it on Games Daily or other things. But stay tuned.
Want to. I mean,
we might.
I guess that's the thing. To piggyback and explain more, there's a desire to how will it fit with the normal schedule and what's happening, what we already have planned for this week.
Yeah, we need to give people days off for being gone in LA this week too. So just want to be real with everybody that next week's already a little tight. Ollie DJ says, Easy A, the dominoes are finally falling. Luke Bocci says, finally a showcase that makes me want to buy an Xbox. That's awesome.
That's
right?
great. That's what they want. I'm sure if you ask Team Xbox, that's what they want.
Mm-hmm. Wispa Clips says Super Hans and Fable. Let's go. Expedition 33 and Perfect Dark, the standouts for me. Dates for the 2024 stuff, and this could have been argued as a 10 out of 10. Joey Radstone says, thank you guys for working on a Sunday. Super Hans, I think it's the hero they were talking about in the beginning.
The main actor guy, right?
Maybe?
Oh, sorry, never mind.
Xbox. Every fucking time, bless. Every fucking time.
Your tongue sounded like it was 20 pounds.
They get me with it. It's them saying Xbox, but their name is EKTHBOKTH.
Xbox.
Oh my fucking god! Stellar Show.
We need sleep.
Like, was it you?
It was me that got it. Yeah, no, they got me too.
Stellar Show. Call me crazy, but this is the first time I feel that I can see the promise and spectacle of our current gen being delivered upon, particularly when it felt like PS 4.5 and Xbox 1.5. So there we go. Really cool stuff. Amador Lopez says, shout out to Ben Starr. Expedition 33 looks amazing. Aaron Clemens says, 10 in terms of games shown. Can't help but feel like yet again we're being sold on games within the next 12 months without explicitly saying it. Robbie Robb says, Perfect Dark being a Deus Ex game was fantastic. South by Midnight being announced last year and being released next year.
No Silk Song. It's crazy.
I also do want to shout that out. That was one of the things we talked about during the predictions, is that I like that we're building a cadence now of, hey, we got this thing announced. Hey, next year, here's a bigger showing. Hey, this is coming out the year after. I feel like that is going to help build that anticipation for your audience, and I think that's great.
Yep. Then we got Duro saying 10 out of 10 showcase. Props to Tina Amini and Team Xbox. And yeah, this is another thing that we've been live, so I haven't seen the details of, but it sounds like tomorrow is an Avowed Xbox podcast. Tuesday is Metal Gear Solid, and that every day there's going to be a different game being focused on.
That's cool.
Pretty sick.
Very cool.
Then we got Danny Passion saying, happy to see Gears going back to what I love. 10 out of 10.
Hit you with the Mad World, too.
Oh, dude.
Get out of town. Even Cliffy B's going crazy on Twitter right now.
That shit was good.
He
it was
said
Mad World the whole time, by the way.
What's up?
It was Mad World the entire trailer. It wasn't just
Hit
the
you
end.
with it. Come on now.
Then we got Damon Cooper saying, we know you guys are tired, so thank you all for what you do and giving us the kind of funny content we know and love. Much love to the whole team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Damon Cooper. And he gifted out 5 memberships.
Thank you so much.
Use that membership if you appreciate this. If you enjoy the content today, of course, get all of the shows ad-free. Get the ability to watch us record the afternoon podcast lives, record them, and get a daily on the weekdays Greg Way vlog. Of course, that would benefit you this week for all the amazing content we have, because it's kind of insane, Tim.
Yep, it really is. It really, really is. We got Alex right in, 10 out of 10, celebrating. Cactus J22 says, I haven't played Call of Duty since Black Ops 2. Does 6 look like it's going back to a Black Ops 2 feel and look?
I can't really answer that. I'm not really familiar with a lot of the campaigns.
Yeah, I thought that Black Ops 5 hit that for you, too. I recommend you give it a try. I think you should jump back in. Black Ops 5 had some great stuff.
Special K90 says, not only is the lineup for 2024 and 5 impressive, exciting to think about what was in here. Double Fine, IO Interactive, Avalanche. Sad times, video games.
They have quite the lineup of developers on the Xbox bench right now, and this is what their dream scenario is, right? Come out, deliver this kind of showcase next year, show those 2025 games that are still coming, and then also talk about what's coming in 2026, and so on and so on and so on.
It's like when you're a bad baseball team for a long time, Tim. You get to get a big farm system.
Like the Cubs.
And suddenly for the next decade, just like the Cubs. And for the next decade, you're bringing up all these like 18-year-old dudes that are just pitching gas. It's insane.
Then we got KDG. Is this the year we see a Game Pass game win Game of the Year? This year? No?
No, Helldivers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this year.
Again.
It's possible for me.
William Loomis says, not for nothing, but God of War 2018 didn't announce its release until 3 months before release. I feel like it's been like this for a bit.
Yeah.
P.S. Y'all were unhinged on Giant Bomb last night. I loved it.
That was
Thank you for
Totally
watching.
normal.
That was
totally normal.
That's one you want to take back. You know?
William Bowen says, can y'all explain the business model of premium games released day one on Game Pass? Seems like Disney dropping their Pixar films straight to Disney Plus. I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't believe in it. I think that it is going to cause a lot of problems, but I hope that I'm wrong.
It was a business move that had to be done at one point, right? Because they were so far behind. They had to sell you on, be like, yo, you got to stick around here. We need you.
Yeah.
And you know what? As a consumer who's been doing it and living it, I love it, right? Like, this is an awesome subscription service. Will it be doomed to fail and maybe send this $1 trillion company in a different world? Yeah, maybe, but like, I'm just the jabroni playing and having fun with it. So yeah, give me those first party titles instead of $70. I'm in.
Luke Ryan says, are you guys reacting to Dragon Age? I'll have to wait and see. Joey Radstone says, surprised no Fallout or Oblivion remakes? ? Not surprised. I feel like those were all on our list of like, that'd be freaking cool if they did it, but I don't think we expected them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're running out of here. These Bear King 08 with the last one saying, watch the showcase and bought a new Xbox after.
Wow.
That's good.
They literally did the thing. Very cool.
There was I don't know, you want to believe, right? Because I want the industry to be successful. Somebody in the regular chat at some point on this one was like, I just came back from GameStop and it was really popping off and there were a lot of people buying Xboxes. I'd love that to be true. I would love that to be that people watching like, all right, it's finally time. Let's go get it.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about this Xbox game showcase. And remember, we are live every single weekday on twitch.tv and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, talking all about video games. We do a daily news show. We then do a daily discussion show. We then play games for a bunch of hours. We have such a great time, and we would love for you to join us.
I would especially like all of these Xbox fans to join us on Friday, when the one and only Rod Ferguson is in studio for a Diablo Gamescast, where he'll talk to us about whatever he can about Vessel of Hatred, whatever he can about the rise of Diablo. And then, of course, he's going to stick around and play Diablo with us. So Rod Ferguson coming through on Friday in San Francisco in studio. Incredibly excited.
That's awesome.
Till next time. Love y'all.